welcome to Queued Up. We have 4 exciting segments today that we're going to walk you through. The first one is Did You Hear About, where we're going to talk about esports news. The second is going to be Loading Up Other Players, where we're going to look at some of the industry things that are going on. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not the second. The second's actually Pick 'em. Pick 'em, we're doing number 2. Number 3 is going to be Loading Other Players. And number 4 is going to be What Are We Playing This Weekend? And with me on the desk that are going to discuss all these exciting things, first and certainly not least, Mr. Nick Thug Nasty Lavid, the one and only Michael Tumbleweed Kepley, and the best, for sure, because he has the greatest name, the Davis Tadlock.
Boom, boom.
And I'm your host, the Pathfinder. What's going on, guys, today? How are we doing? What is going on in the world, okay, of esports?
Oh, okay. I was going to say I'm doing great, minus Davis not getting lunch, but in the world of esports, everything's going great.
That is important that Davis needs to get some lunch every day. It also matters what beverage Davis is choosing when he goes to get his lunch. So we want to know from you, the viewers, and we're going to ask ourselves on the desk, are you a Coke fan or a Mountain Dew fan? Nick, I'm starting with you. Go ahead.
It's Mountain Dew all day. For the past 10 years, I've had a 2 o'clock Mountain Dew Monday through Friday. It's fueled all of my professional success. No question about it.
I want you guys to know, I see his calendar right here, 2 o'clock. That's Mountain Dew time. I'm also a Mountain Dew guy, but that's a very close contention for me. Regular Mountain Dew Code Red, and Mountain Dew Baja Blast. That's the prio right there.
Okay, so I do think we need to clarify, just to make sure the audience knows. I think we're talking about specifically regular Mountain Dew, because if you compare Coke to all of the flavors of Mountain Dew, I think it automatically loses, right? Because Code Red is so good. Baja Blast is S-tiered. You cannot defeat that, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like Coke and regular Mountain Dew.
If I'm only doing regular?
Only knowing those two, what do you think?
Only? I'm changing sides. I'm going Coke.
Coke it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Davis.
I'm on the Coke side as well. No hate to Mountain Dew. I do like a good Dew every once in a while. But if I go like the citrus route, I'm looking more like Sundrop. Sundrop's actually my citrus route.
I'd like to take my fist bump back, please.
So
Tell me you're born and raised in North Carolina without saying you're born and raised in
And
North
if it's a cherry lemon Sundrop, it's probably the best.
So Nick, knowing that, does that change your opinion if you're going Coke or Mountain Dew?
Oh, no question about it. I'm sticking Mountain Dew till the day I die.
It's on his calendar
I
right
do
there.
the Dew. I do the Dew.
Dew till he dies.
I am going to be on the Coke side of this conversation.
Okay.
If it included Baja Blast, I would be on the Mountain Dew side, but it does not, so it's original Mountain Dew.
I'm in that same thing too. Baja Blast, like you said, S tier.
S-tier,
I put cherry lemon Sundrop in the S tier as well, but Coke is better than regular Dew.
There you go. All right. We want to know, drop in the comments, you a Mountain Dew, you a Coke fan, put it down there. Go ahead and like and subscribe while you're at it. We appreciate it. We work really hard here. We're just trying to get everything going. We want to get you your esports news. So if you just take a moment to push that like button or push the subscribe button, that means a lot to us. Okay, cool. Jumping right into CSGO PGL Bucharest. There has been a ton of upsets. We have seen a lot of teams fall. We've seen Astralis drop out. Team Liquid no longer there. Fury is no longer there. The Mongols dropped out today. It hurts on my soul. I hate it. Davis, coming to you first. What has been the biggest upset for you?
The biggest surprise for me and the biggest upset for me has been the way Complexity has played really all of their series. I mean, as we talked about coming into this tournament, we thought this was going to be one that it was very open. You know, some of the top dog teams aren't here, kind of anybody's game to win. And I think Complexity has shown up and showed that they can compete with some of these top dogs. I mean, they upset Aurora, and they also upset somebody else that's the Mongols, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It hurts. It hurts.
But yeah,
talk about that.
Also upsetting 2 of what I view as top teams. So, I mean, that shows that they're on fire, and I could see them actually coming out on top of this thing.
Yeah, Complexity, what do you think?
I mean,
Or anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Complexity has been a little off. Of course, me, like, it's very obvious, Mongols.
Yeah.
So I had them going really far in this. I'm calling this like the tournament of the mid teams, right? Because you don't have Vitality, you don't have Spirit or anything like that. So there's history right on this show. I say Mongols, they look like a top 4, top 3 team in the world sometimes. Whatever's going on right now, their energy's just off. So I'm hoping they can reset for the major and just enjoy the time off for a little bit, you know?
I'm going to take this conversation a little bit of a different direction because I think the Complexity comment is interesting because I do think Complexity is actually an underdog. And it's interesting that you think it's an upset on the back end, Davis. Not like it's your opinion. You're allowed to have that opinion. Mm-hmm. But I think that like when I look at Complexity, like I don't expect much from them. Like I think they're actually should not have made it through this, right? They were 3-1. They took down the Falcons, a close game of Furia, and then they lost to G2 and then finally took down a bad phase right now. So it's like, I don't think that they're amazing right now. But Nick, what do you think? I mean, big upset for you on the phase side? What's going on?
Oh, I think it was a massive upset every single match. And as a huge Complexity fan myself and loving everything that they're doing over there, I think there was upsets left and right. But I actually wouldn't give it to them for the upset team of the week. It has to be Apogee. They came in as the 46th seed overall in the entire, not just this event, but overall. And taking down the likes of the Mongols and Astralis back to back was insane. In my opinion, the biggest upset, no question about it. Unfortunately, falling to Aurora, a.k.a. the new Eternal Fire, and FaZe in that final match to finally get FaZe through to the playoffs. But Apogee, no question, the upset team of the week.
They don't belong here in any of these conversations.
No.
They shouldn't won a game against some of these guys, and they took down 2. They ended up in that middle pack, lost to FaZe eventually, which there's 3 teams at the bottom here, Falcons, FaZe, and Virtus Pro, that kind of squeaked their way in, who should probably be in the top 4.
Yeah, so I mean, like if we're going off logic of seeding, I mean, obviously, like it just adds more merit to my opinion, right? Mongols, I think, came into this tournament number 7 seed in the world, and they lost to like the 42nd seed. Like this should have been like an easy breeze tournament for them, in my opinion, to kind of coast through. Maybe G2, maybe Aurora give them some struggles, but outside of that, like I didn't expect Mongols to be knocked out by Falcons now, right, and be out of the tournament completely.
I also misspoke earlier when I said that Complexity was the team that beat Mongols. The team I actually was thinking of, though, that I watched beat Mongols in a great game was 3D Max. I think that was a big upset as well. 3D Max is a very good team, but obviously, I mean, we had Mongols as a top team and haven't performed
I'm
well.
always praising them.
I don't even think 3D Max is a good team.
Yeah.
Like, the number 2 seed, 3D Max, when we're talking about, I mean, Liquid is on here, Mongols is on here, Astralis, Virtus Pro, FaZe, Falcons, EF, Aurora, like, 3D Max is not a great team. Like, they are bottom 16 for sure, especially when you look at this tournament. It's such an odd duck tournament because we're missing our powerhouse teams. We're missing Spirit. We're missing Vitality. We're missing Mouse. And it's like, is this just like a fluke of a tournament? Like, did these guys know that it's going to be a weird one or what? Like, it's very strange.
I think we're seeing energy play a toll into that. So a lot of these teams have been competing nonstop, right? Like Mongols, I imagine traveling back and forth. Right, that's very tiring on them. So I think that energy plays a lot to it. But I also think that there's some strategy to not making it too far. Because you do have the major coming up. This tournament, like in the grand scheme, doesn't mean a whole lot, right? So if you're someone like Mongols, right? So if I Copium hit, right? Like Mongols really didn't need to show any new strategies here, right? They can afford to liquidate. They've already qualified for the major. So they can take some time off, relax, let these other teams get some reps in and learn more about how these teams are going to look as their strategies evolve because they want these wins to try to qualify.
Yeah, I think totally different circus, though. The Blast Major versus the PGL events, I think they're in 2 totally different time zones. And this PGL event is for $1.25 million. I hope nobody's taking these things lightly and just trying to be like, oh, well, I'm already qualified onto this other circuit and thing. But it's crazy. You actually saw Aurora, the new Eternal Fire roster, after one of their matches. They're like, we've got to take some events off. They're just week after week after week and $1 million tournament after $1 million tournament. But at the same point in time, they're traveling all over Europe, US, Australia. They're going everywhere. It's got to be wearing on all of these players.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I think we're seeing the big teams kind of drop out. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other teams to highlight? I think one for me would be Team Liquid. Just 3-0. Out. Quick. Done. Played against a Legacy, which I don't even know who's on that roster. I've never even seen that team before in my life. And then a Virtus Pro that's good and a Mongols that's good. So kind of tough 2 matchups in the back there. But
I was really surprised with Mongols. I definitely thought that they would at least make it past the elimination part. Disappointed in them, but I guess that happens.
That's crazy because that's not what he was saying yesterday. He was praying for the Mongols to go down, and I don't even know why. But
dude, I mean, they played a close game 3 against the Falcons earlier today. Like,
that could have went either way. I mean,
really could have.
Whichever way that goes, the other team's out. So.
Exactly. Yeah. On an Ancient, that's very scrappy, right? In the middle of that map, it's like whoever wins that 2v2 in the middle of a map normally wins the round. It's like they just lost that 2v2 too many times in the middle there and didn't work out for them.
And that's what's really upsetting is because Mongols, at the beginning of this year, they were known as the ancient team. Like a lot of the teams weren't good at it. And now I think so many teams have kept putting reps into ancient because everyone's like, oh, it's this team's weak map. So everyone's getting all these reps on it. Now Mongols are kind of tapering off a little bit. They've lost that edge. So we'll have to see. I just hope that they're cooking up something good in the lab to come back for.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the next piece of this, there is some news about the Blast Major that's coming up in Austin. So they've changed their format. They went from 24 teams to now 32 teams that are going to compete. 16 are going to compete through an open qualifier, and 16 are going to get auto-invited to Stage 3, which would be a Swiss piece of the bracket. So we'll be able to see a lot of the teams that we know on the top. But there's still some teams that are going to be able to fight their way through. So it'll be an interesting conversation to see if a 3D Max can make their way through that bracket or if it's going to be somebody that just gets a seed on the third side, which is probably Vitality because they're the hottest right now. But any comments or thoughts, concerns for that one as we look forward to it?
Not really any concerns, but looking forward to it. Like you said, I mean, people getting the automatic bids. I think it's really cool the design and just the fact that they've expanded the team pool, letting more teams come into play, have a shot at competing. And so I think we'll have some upsets. I mean, the same thing we've seen this week. Some teams are going to surprise some people that'll be qualified for Stage 3 that we didn't think would be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe some more upsets as we've seen in this PGL event. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one underneath our Did You Hear About section, which is going to be some Valorant stuff. G2 and KRU on the top of both of their groups. But I'm going to toss it over to Nick Lavid to introduce us to some Valorant stuff going on over here.
Yeah, Valorant, we just completed weekend number 3 of the Champions Tour Americas edition. Finally getting some separation in those groups, so it's great to see. But KRU and G2 being at the top of their group, I think G2 is the obvious in Group B, but KRU getting that early win against Sentinels is huge and has got them at the top of that group. However, I still don't think you could sleep on Sentinels. Sentinels woke up last week, predicted them to win 26-6. They won 26-10 over Evil Geniuses, absolutely destroyed them. I think they're going to finally hit their stride at the halfway point and keep moving forward. I still think they're a scary team as we head into the playoffs.
Yeah, it also looked like Evil Geniuses is now in the bottom 2 with Loud on that group as well. And so Evil Geniuses has a big match coming up that they kind of have to win against KRU in order to not get eliminated out of that group setting.
Yeah, there's still a path for Evil Geniuses has KRU this week. Not crazy to see a win there. However, it's not looking likely with how hot KRU is playing right now. But there still is a path ahead with, in weekend number 5, them playing Loud, the team that is currently 0-3. So I don't think 2Game Esports has a way out, but I think there's still a path to success for Evil Geniuses going forward.
Has 2Game played Evil Geniuses
Yeah,
at this point?
they played the first week. Yeah.
They did? Yeah, and so they must have lost that one, yeah.
They did, yeah.
EG2 owed them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like those bottom 3, it's like, it's going to be one of them, and it's going to be whoever takes down Sentinels, 100 Thieves, or KRU at this point. So wild bracket as it kind of looks at that. And then Group Omega, G2 slaying everybody out, and it's like MIBR and Cloud9 clearly the number 2 on that side of the bracket.
Yeah, I think that group's pretty much already played out. I think it won't really change much, but I don't know. I could see something happening over in this Group Alpha. I don't know if the teams will necessarily change as far as who's qualifying and who's not, but I'm kind of with you. I'm not so sure that KRU is really the 1 seed in this group. I kind of think Sentinels is, even though KRU did 2-0 them. I think Sentinels is a very good team, and I could see KRU slipping up and losing one of these games and Sentinels retaking the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think KRU kind of stumbled their way here, right? If we look back to week 1, KRU versus Loud was a very close matchup, right? I mean, it was one-sided on game 1, one-sided on game 2, and then I think it was like a 3 or 4 round difference in the final game. So, I mean, even though Loud is 0-3 right now, I don't think anyone would have predicted KRU to be in this spot.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely in agreement with you guys. I think 100 Thieves and Sentinels are still the team. Like, I don't want to put any disrespect to KRU, but it's great, right? They're kind of smooth sailing from here. And then Group Omega, I mean, I think that I think people might be sleeping a little bit on NRG. I could see NRG coming back there, so I definitely don't want to remove them from that race. But MIBR has been kind of a surprise for me there. So
yeah, NRG is going to have a big match coming up against MIBR this weekend as well. So those are 2. I mean, we're starting to see as the weeks go on, it's kind of progressing. We're kind of settling in, and it's weird to see Loud not doing as well as they normally do. They've just been on the decline, for sure.
You're so used to them being so dominant too. Like being 0-3 is just like, wow.
And they just made a roster change actually going into last weekend that might have flew under the radar. But if you look back at the stats from this past weekend, Loud actually going game 3 with Sentinels, and they picked up this kid, Luca, from Europe somewhere, not exactly sure, but he's an 18-year-old. He's cracked. He plays Sentinel. He dropped like a 1.6 in the series against the team that I was just 30 seconds ago saying is one of the best teams in this Champions Tour Americas. So they got to watch out this weekend.
They do.
They got to watch out. This kid, Loud played 100 Thieves this weekend, playing Sentinels this weekend. Sentinels doesn't need to sleep on this new kid.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, maybe the bounce back starts this week. But I'm going to move on to the next one so we can cruise through. We're going to talk a little bit of Call of Duty. Obviously, the things going on in the COD landscape has been the roster changes. And then we've seen a little bit of this week 1 and 2 kind of play out. Actually, it's just been week 1 where OpTic Gaming is on the top of the back end. But Kepley, give me a little bit of overview. What do you think's going on right now? Have these rosters kind of solidified and found a good spot in the world, or still trouble in paradise?
I don't think that they're completely out of trouble in paradise, right? I think that there are some good moves there. I like what I saw out of Rocker in the first week with Kenny. I'm liking what I see out of OpTic. I mean, I know they swapped 2 players, but really they only swapped 1, right? Because Shotzi and Hook are, that's like peanut butter and jelly, man.
Peanut butter and jelly. I love
So I'm liking where some of the stuff is. Falcons is a team that invested a lot into their players, so they kind of had a disappointing week after that, but I'm hoping that roster can start to pay off and we just get some good old competitive COD. But right now is when it matters most, because as you go into Major 3, you're running out of time to make up points, and champs is what everybody cares about.
Yeah.
So I think every match here matters. And OpTic starting off 2-0, I mean, big surprise, but that sets him up good for this qualifier. Get some points, try to guarantee your champ spot, and then you only have 3 more matches until your next major. So.
Yeah, I want to hone in on one of those things, which is like, Kenny's playing good.
Yeah.
Like, he was playing real bad with OpTic, and he's playing real good now. Like, that had to mean that there's some craziness going on in the OpTic landscape. I mean, Davis, what do you think? What does that change look like?
He was checked out. I remember a few weeks ago, I think it was either you or Eli, someone said, I don't know if Kenny's maybe he's the hardest chalked out. I think clearly he was. I mean, if he's dropping a 0.3, Kenny's a world champion who's solidified as a Call of Duty legend. Like, he's not dropping a 0.3, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't care how bad it gets, he's not dropping a 0.3.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot behind the scenes, or, Shotzi's talked a lot more openly about it, that there was conflict between Shotzi and Pred and Kenny and Pred, and they just couldn't get on the same wavelength with how they wanted to play the game. So it's nice to see Kenny go off and kind of thrive, it looks like right now, and put Rocker as that team that's going to be something to look out for going forward. And I can't wait to see them match up in LAN on the major, because that's what matters to me. I don't really care about the online.
Yeah, and you saw the rematch. I mean, it was close. The Rocker playing OpTic, it's like, they're 1 kill away from winning that one in the right way, which is like, I mean, the RC car.
They're 1 team kill away.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, if Kenny just doesn't play that car that way, it might end up something different. That's a hard retake on that site anyway, and the bottom of the protocol. But it's one of those things where it's like, that can go really either way. So I think those teams are pretty evenly matched. It'll be curious to see in the next couple weeks if they improve tremendously or if it kind of, evens out. Because I think OpTic does have a lot more upside with their current dynamic than I think Rocker is going to, just with the slaying power alone. But we'll see. Nick, I want to ask you about the Vegas Falcons. I mean, talk about some people that are on that roster that should do better, and like, they just don't look great. Like, one of them does well, and the other ones just peel off.
See, that's where I'm going to completely disagree with you. I think they're actually looking great. Coming out,
they're 0-2. They lost.
Perfectly fine. You're coming out with like a few days of scrims under your belt, playing Vancouver Surge, one of the hottest, if not the hottest teams in the league right now, and then to turn around and 1 day later play Miami Heretics to Game 5. You're actually winning respawns. Exnid looks like the best player on the roster, which is crazy to say, with 3 separate world champions on that roster as well. I think it's only up from there. They've only been playing together for a week. Yeah. Good things to come from them.
How many points do they have?
They have a whopping 0.
They have 0 points.
CJ,
they have to win. They have 0 points.
CJ
I want to
Davis.
butt in.
Go for it.
They also had 0 map wins before this weekend. They now have 2 map wins. They have improved. I actually think they're going to be a lot better with this new roster. I mean, the players are really good. Like you said, they didn't beat Miami Heretics, but they easily could have. And I did mention last week in the show, I didn't think that they would beat them because not having enough scrims under their belt. If they would have played Miami next week, I think they smoke them.
0 points.
Yeah, 0.
They have 0 points.
I don't think we're going to be seeing Falcons at champs. And I I'm critical of Arcides a lot. Arcides does have kind of a bad rep in the community, and you take this kind of perceived ego that Arcides has on teams, and you mix that with what we're just now hearing with Pred.
Yeah,
Pred and Priesta's in there too.
Yeah,
that's some big egos, and it's going to be hard to figure out like who's going to lead there, right? So I think once they get in and they kind of like someone's going to win that ego war, and then eventually I think this team's going to change anyway.
This is my thing. One last comment that I do recognize they are all ego lords, but they've all recently took a massive hit to that ego.
Yeah.
So eventually they're going to have to bite their pride. I think this is the time to do it, and I think they'll bounce back.
they're gonna have to win everything.
I don't think they'll make champs. But I do think this move drastically improves them.
Yeah.
And I think that every move has improved the team. The only one I don't think improved very much is Miami adding.
Do you
Super.
think they can make a grand finals in a major, 3 or 4?
No.
Grand finals, no, but there is a pipe dream that I have concocted out there with some whiteboard math that they are going to sneak in as the 8 seed for champs.
They'll be top 8 in both majors from here on out. I'll say that.
The 8
There's
seed? Oh my
no
God.
way they make champs.
This is
I would love that to be
Steven
true.
Spielberg has already directed the movie. It's happening. They're going to make champs. Zero to hero real quick. We already got the title and everything.
Hey, clip it, Chad. I don't know.
I think they're going to have to win both majors to do that. There's no shot.
I don't think
shot.
I don't think they'll make champs. I do think they'll climb the leaderboard. I do think they will be top 8 at both the final majors of the year.
I would love to see it. Well, we got some matches to watch this weekend then on the Call of Duty side. The Vegas Falcons are going to play OpTic this weekend. That's it.
That's a loss.
So we're going to see him against the Green Wall. It'll be the AG versus his old roster kind of coming back. We'll see if the comeback exists. But any other major roster moves you guys want to look at before we move on? Are we moving on?
No, I think I'm good on the rosters.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, Super going to Miami would be the only one. I don't think they've improved a lot. It doesn't look good to me.
I think that's a very lateral just switch. Like I said, I think the other 3 teams that made moves, I think all of them have improved their team. I think Miami's kind of in the same spot. I do see them falling a little.
I will throw out that I do see Carolina Royal Ravens making a roster change soon.
Who are they
Who are they going to get? I mean, the problem is that like the rumor was Kenny, and I just don't know who you swap out for there. I mean, like
Arcides, he just leaves the Falcon out.
yeah,
It's not working out, guys. We lost 2.
that'd be a very difficult experience for me. Trying to have hometown pride and Arcides on my team. Like I don't want that.
I mean, there's a couple players in the challengers right now that could go and do it.
Yeah, I wish I was more familiar with that scene because seeing Neptune come up, that gives me a lot of hope for those
I
players.
mean, fellow got pulled up. Brack's over there on a team with a couple other guys. So I don't know. There's
a
some
lot
folks-
of good players out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys.
There's some good ones.
A lot of guys that have been in the league too and dropped out that I think are hungry. Like I was saying earlier, Neptune's a prime example. I mean, I remember when he was playing for Subliners and Vanguard, and I mean, he was a good player, but just kind of lost traction, went back to challengers. Now he's back, and nobody can kill him. So.
Well, he got humbled a little bit in Halo, but we're not going to go into that story as well. But I'm happy for Travis doing well, especially a fellow Luminosity member. Love that for my boy.
There you go. Love that. Cool. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk some League of Legends. We're going into week number 2. We got some matches coming up. Kepley, I would love for you to introduce some of these things for us so the viewers can know.
I will introduce these matches. I think you had some script here. So we're looking for Saturday in North America. Our kind of hot one there is 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest, arguably 2 of the best teams in the league. And then we also have Shopify Rebellion versus Lion. This is a really interesting one because I think Lions gets disrespected a lot in conversations there. And then if we fast forward to Sunday, we look at Liquid versus Lion as kind of that standout match. There's not like a whole lot of, there's nothing else I'm seeing jump out at me for Sunday. Maybe FlyQuest versus Shopify, just to keep that train going. But it's going to be an interesting week. But week 3 is really where you're going to see a lot of the mix-up here.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, like, and we've talked about this before, but the best of ones leading into this positioning for groups, it's like, in some ways, it's a little bit of a wash. And we are seeing some weird picks and just some strange things going on where people are showing up and, the Yorick on the top lane through FlyQuest. It's like, what is this? What are we doing here? So it's interesting to see how these kind of these matches are shaping up over the first 3 weeks for positioning. It's also interesting to see Lions 2-0.
Yeah.
I think they're okay. They look good, but like I don't think they're amazing. Like I don't think they square up against a TL and a best of 5 right now. I don't know, Kep. What do you think?
Oh, I disagree with you. I mean, I think I don't put all this stock in Liquid that other people have because I'm the biggest impact hater on the planet, right? Like I think it's time for him to finally retire and move on. Lion as a team, I put Lion kind of top 4. It's a really tough conversation to have there because you are competing with the likes of Cloud9, 100 Thieves, FlyQuest. I would say that Lions sneaks in there. I would put Lions on a normal sense, if they keep playing at the level they're playing, above Liquid, which is really kind of strange to say to a lot of people since Liquid just went to first stand. They just represented us. But Lions looks really good right now. So I'm just trying to back those boys because they got some talent.
Well, the word on the street is that Liquid's actually trying out some other players too on the back end. So they're trying to do tryouts. And I don't know how you feel about this, but doing tryouts in the middle of a season, trying to figure out if you should replace somebody on your roster, normally doesn't play out so good, but I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't play out so good, but sometimes you get what's called faker. Because Faker, that's a story, like a huge story for him and how he kind of ascended to become the player that he is today. Because Faker was about to be benched, right? And then they brought in another mid laner who's now a coach, but that mid laner went one-on-one with Faker. And at the time, that mid laner was technically better than Faker because he played more control mages, but you get this internal competition going. And it's against someone like Faker. Faker was forged by fire, and that's why we now know the greatest player to ever play League, Faker, right? So
it's like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Just all over again, gets benched, got to play through, I don't know.
Maybe that's what Liquid needs.
There you go.
I know Impact didn't play very well for me in my fantasy. I picked him.
Yeah, I mean, Impact is a world champ, so I'm going to give the guys accolades. He deserves them. But Impact is very good at traditional League. And what you need these days to make North America great, in my opinion, is you need these more fun picks. That's why I'm such a big Blippo guy. Someone who can dig in deep, bring out a Yorick, bring out an Urgot. These are the type of picks that are going to put North America on the map. Right, we've always seen the same thing in the mid lane. Cloud9 put North America on the map when they first came, to the world as an organization through League with weird picks, with standout talent like that. And that's what we need to see. And Impact, the only thing he's been good at recently was the old meta lane swaps. With that gone, you start to see some of his flaws because he's really good on tanks, but you can't put him on a carry. You can't put him on an Mbessa. You can't put him on a Jax. He just doesn't do as well there as he should. So you sub him out for someone who's a bit more talented, and that's where this kind of 6-player roster style starting to make a stand there, right? So I think that there's a really good reason to have Impact to swap him in and out, but he shouldn't be your star, in my opinion.
Yeah, the 6-player roster thing is something that we're seeing a lot of, where players, specifically now because of the Fearless draft, have to reach into a different depth of character pool that they can play. And so having somebody you can sub out for a series that is upcoming when they're going to ban your best champs seems like something that's super valuable.
Yeah, see, and that's why I'm really upset right now that we have all these best of ones, because Fearless Draft got me really interested in League of Legends, and we're just playing best of ones right now. The Fearless Draft doesn't even matter. We're just doing our normal pick bans, and we're moving on. It's like, give me best of threes, give me that Fearless Draft, and I'm all in.
Hold your horses, Nick. It's coming.
Yeah.
I'm just going to side with the players on this one because I was actually talking to Chris about this not too long ago, and he just voiced to me, how many games these guys play for League of Legends, and the fact that these games are so long. It just really didn't make sense in his opinion, now kind of my opinion as well. It really didn't make sense to have all the games be best of 3, even with Fearless Draft. We will get into Fearless Draft as the more important and more meaningful games come along, but just for the positioning phase, I don't mind it being best of 1.
Well, yeah, I mean the goal here is just to get all the teams to touch each other, right? Because that's the most exciting thing.
Now, wait a minute.
So you don't want
I want the teams to touch each other.
you don't want to have a situation where you're theorizing Lion. I would hate to be in a world where Lion goes and they look really good against Disguise. They look really good against Shopify Rebellion. But then I'm like, are they actually that good? Because they haven't played 100 Thieves yet. Right? I'm going to have to wait however many weeks for them to meet deep in this bracket if they make it. So getting this opportunity for all the teams to match up, it lets you kind of start to, theorize a little bit, right? Now we go to these Fearless Draft. Oh, you can get an upset in a best of 1, you get a better spot. Well, now you get to dodge Cloud9. You get to dodge FlyQuest in your bracket play. So I like this to build up to it, right? Kind of slow roll us into it.
We'll see. I don't know.
Tease the viewers a little.
I don't know, but we got there'll be some important matches coming up this weekend. Obviously, you talked about a couple of them, but Shopify Rebellion versus Lions, those guys looked like they were doing well, specifically against Dignitas, and so they can kind of we'll see if they show up against Lion or not. And then we have FlyQuest versus Shopify Rebellion as well. But a couple good matches going on this weekend, something to watch for the viewers at home. Thanks for making it this far. We appreciate you. Go ahead, subscribe. We're going to the next segment. It's the most exciting one of the day. We're going to pick'ems. Woo! We're going to pick them. We're going to pick some matches. Ultimately, how this is going to work is we're going to take our top 2 from CSGO, who we think is the PGL Bucharest finals event that's going on there. You like the Bucharest?
That was pretty. That had
nice.
some flavor. That had some sauce.
Bucharest.
I like that.
And then we're going to look at 2 Valorant matches, KRU versus EG, MIBR versus NRG, Rocker versus Carolina Royal Ravens, OpTic versus Falcons, LAT versus Ultra, FlyQuest versus the 100 Thieves, and C9 versus Dignitas in the League of Legends side. So we're going to look at all those matches. We have a nice little graphic for you. I'm going to go first.
Typical.
Okay? I'm going to go first. I'm giving you my 2 CSGO picks to start off, and then we're going to go around the room. My first 2, G2 and Falcons in the final, with Falcons winning. Falcons are going to win it again, which is weird, but hey, go ahead, Nick.
I'm going G2 and FaZe. The way that the bracket's set up, I think we're actually going to see the finals and the semifinals with G2 versus Aurora. However, somebody's got to win it, and I'm giving the edge to G2 right now. But G2 and FaZe.
Kepley.
I went G2 and FaZe as well, but I have to be honest with you. I picked Mongols because I thought there was no way they were going to lose the Falcons, and then I quickly before the show had to change the FaZe.
Davis.
G2 as well.
Wow.
Followed by 3D Max for me.
Whoa! There's an
respect it.
upset.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
good pick.
Okay. I'm looking at this, and I think there's a little bit of bias for G2 right now. G2 did not look that great, but we all picked them. Why? Why did you pick G2, Davis?
Well, I've kind of been riding G2's bandwagon for the last few
You
weeks.
think Monacy is enough?
Monacy's my favorite player, so that's why I picked them, to be honest.
I mean, Monacy's about to get a big payday with Falcons, so Monacy's got to show out right here.
I mean, if he wins with G2, what does that do to your mental, bro?
Remember a few weeks back when we were talking and we said, oh, should he go to FaZe? And I said FaZe up, and you said, oh, G2's winning. Well, money matters, right? That's what I was saying the whole time. So he's leaving regardless. You might as well give him like a little win before you go out. Soften the blow.
Okay, what about our FaZe picks? Tell me, why'd you pick FaZe? I need the bracket. FaZe are going to play against 3D Max first. It's going to be tough for that 3D Max finals going to happen. And then they're probably going to play against either Gamer Legion or Falcons.
You want to go first or me?
Yeah, go ahead. Why'd you pick FaZe, Nick?
I just think 3D Max is, they're just not all there. I think FaZe, and this might be a little bit more heart than head, but Kerrigan and Elige are just going to come out on top. They had a slow Swiss side of things. However, bracket play, they know it's single elimination, backs against the wall. I think that's when they perform their best, and it's only going to come true in this single elimination.
Same thing for you, Kepper.
I picked FaZe because of what I hear this team should be, right? And then I don't see those results. And then also a little bit of spite because Falcons just eliminated Mongols. So I wanted to pick a team on that side of the bracket that wasn't Falcons, and FaZe just felt like the right choice to me.
Makes sense. Okay, cool.
3D Max for me, let me explain this.
Yeah, you explain the 3D Max pick. Go ahead.
3D Max has been on fire. They've beat 3 really good teams, Mongols, Astralis, and Aurora. Aurora was actually going to be my pick along with G2 until this game happened, and it completely shifted. I mean, I think Aurora has been on fire as well when they were Eternal Fire. They've been rolling. They've been playing really good coming into this event, knowing they're taking a break after this. I think they're really trying their hardest to do as well as they can. 3D Max surprised me and beat them. They're 3-0. I like them. I think they can continue riding it.
I think they lose to FaZe first round.
I hope so.
That's
Or
going to
look really bad.
And that's right. And that's kind of where I've got G2 coming out on top against Aurora because they're already checked out. They're already on vacation. They're in the Bahamas somewhere, sitting on a banana boat, ready to go home. They're going to bow out early in this one as well, even though they are a great team overall.
All right, well, we'll see. Okay, going to the next one. Valorant. We got. Go ahead and throw the graphic up, Mr. Producer. Thank you. We love you, Mark and Pat. Everybody give a round of applause to Mark and Pat. We love you. Okay, cool. So next one, Valorant. KRU versus EG and MIBR versus NRG. I have KRU beating EG and MIBR beating NRG. Next, Nick.
KRU and NRG.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like we are in sync right now, man. KRU and NRG for me as well, dude.
Go.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
KRU, MIBR.
Oh,
Let's go.
my goodness.
2-on-2 over here.
We are all going to get so upset when EG beats KRU. Okay? The upset shows up. They can do it. I don't. I mean, KRU looks pretty solid, honestly, at this point. I think the only one question is the BR versus NRG. Why'd you guys take NRG?
I spoke to it a little bit earlier, right? I just think that NRG has like that little mystery factor. I've kind of underrated MIBR. Like if you would ask me beginning of the season, I wouldn't have put them this high. And that's pure ignorance, right, to the scene. I've liked what I've seen out of NRG, and I just think in that matchup, I just feel like NRG is going to get that edge and kind of take that top half of that bracket moving forward.
I think I'm just going American fanboy yet again. My boy's Ethan looking great, and so is Sam. So I'm really it's more heart than head on that as well. But they've got the talent to do it, and hopefully they can back up.
It is definitely an upset pick.
I like his answer better. USA.
USA, baby, USA. Go ahead.
I'm on MIBR. I'm a big Aspas fan. I do think MIBR is on a better streak right now with just how they're playing. I could see NRG. I think on paper, NRG, when you look at it, might be a better rated team or just like with better known players and stuff. But I mean, MIBR has a very star-studded roster as well, and I think they're rolling. I think they'll take the win.
Cool. I'm with you. I mean, they just look like a better team, honestly. Okay, next, COD. We got Rocker versus Carolina Royal Ravens, OpTic versus Falcons, and LAT versus Ultra. I have Rocker, OpTic, and Ultra in that series. It's not close. All of those are going to be 3-0s. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, CJ, Carolina Royal Ravens, OpTic, LAT.
You have the Royal Ravens?
No.
There's no way he picked that with a straight face. No way.
Just wait till it comes back to the
No
wall.
way. My picks, I got Rocker, and guys, do I even have to say it? Do I even have to say
Go
it?
ahead,
Green
bro.
Wall, baby, OpTic, and then I'm going with Ultra.
Good picks.
Yep.
Solid picks. Go ahead, Davis.
Give me Rocker.
Okay.
Give me Vegas.
Vegas!
What did you
my
say?
God.
Give me Thieves.
Get this guy out of here,
What in
dude.
the world?
The sad part is the Office Vegas Falcons fanboy even went with OpTic in this matchup.
I think OpTic, they've seen the success that they've had from the last 2 matches last week. They think they're good. Vegas is still hungry. You've got a big-time grudge match for one of the best emotional players in the league, Pred. If he gets on a roll, he will be unkillable. Vegas win this in map 5 and stun OpTic.
Done.
Oh my
Done
God.
OpTic. I got the Rocker because Kenny, I think he's going to just pull it out. I think that Carolina Royal Ravens team looks terrible. The only way they win is if Gwen pops off, and Gwen has not been looking good in the last couple of weeks, in my opinion.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's Rocker, but you never know what server they could get pulled onto.
That's
Hey,
true,
you
yeah.
never know. It might just be a forfeit. You never
Yeah,
know.
you never
Yeah,
know.
I feel like you're feeding into both of my reasons for 2 of my picks up there that are a little bit different than everybody. Carolina Royal Ravens, Gwinternet is real. They are on the downtick, but all of the talk over this past week about the internet, exit lag this, server this, forfeit that, they are on the winning side of that. They are a online team. They are going to win this match online. And then on the other side of that, LAT versus Toronto Ultra, they were getting smacked by Boston Breach. They make it to map 3 and they're like, oh, we're going to forfeit because of the internet and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. LAT is going to walk all over them, especially after their early Major 2 exit. They're going to be a little fired up.
Yeah, which, by the way, they got bounced by Boston Breach, so put some respect on Boston's name there. But, I think that, like, these teams, I try to remove these online issues, right? Like, we're going to hope that that's not going to happen again this weekend because it's going to completely taint a lot of these results.
It will.
So if I just look on paper, performance for performance, I mean, like, Kenny and Gio look phenomenal in Rocker. I think that that's better than your Gwen and TJ Howley in Royal Ravens. OpTic, I think the honeymoon phase is a lot stronger. And while Pred is going to be hungry, Hook's just a better Pred. Like, let's just say it. And then Toronto Ultra, Joe Deceives and Beans, I mean, come on now. Those guys are monsters. And I think Thieves are just suffering a little bit of ego right now, right? They're getting put back in their place where they belong, and these guys are on the rise.
Yeah, if Ultra wasn't one of the 4 teams not playing in Texas, I think this would be a different story. And if this was on land, it could be a lot closer. But online, I'm giving it to LAT.
I mean, it's so funny because I thought Ultra could definitely take this, but now after like hearing Nick's point, like I do like the Thieves in that match. I can't change it now, but it's a good point, Nick. I mean, the internet side of this is like the Thieves have been an internet team, and Ultra has clearly been struggling on the internet side for whatever reason based off last week. So that's something we're gonna have to fight through. I don't know, but we're gonna see next week because we're gonna look at this together and be like, hey, you were stupid and wrong, and I was right. And I'm gonna say I'm stupid and wrong a lot. Okay, next one, League of Legends. FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves, C9 versus Dignitas. I pick FlyQuest and C9.
Copy, paste.
Copy, paste.
Run it again.
See,
Control V,
Control
baby.
V,
Control V.
Run it back.
Control V.
We like a clean sweep across the board.
Run the graphic.
Yeah.
Run the graphic that we don't have.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Obviously, we all agree. FlyQuest is amazing. They're going to smoke 100 Thieves. It's not going to be close. C9 is the GOAT in Legends in general, so they can't lose.
Yeah. I just don't think they're very close, these matches, straight up.
Yeah.
I just see FlyQuest being a lot better than 100 Thieves, C9 being a lot better than Dig.
FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, they are arguably, two of the top three teams.
Yeah.
So, I have a lot of love for FlyQuest, but 100 Thieves, like that bottom lane is deadly. And if you let FBI get going, like he's going to take over the whole game. I don't think that new top laner that FlyQuest has is going to be in this matchup. If he is, that kind of changes my answer slightly. But Blippo, I think, is just going to do enough to carry in the top lane.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Wrapping it up, those are the picks. Go ahead. If you agree with somebody, go ahead and put in the comments. You say, hey, I agree with this guy. Or you can be like, hey, this guy is dumb. Really dumb.
This guy for not picking the green wall.
This guy's dumb.
It's capital C, capital
dumb.
J. Dumb.
Dumb.
It's Tadpole.
CJ's dumb.
I can't wait.
Call him
terrible.
Taddy.
I can't wait for Monday.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pulling for your Vegas
Monday.
pick.
There you go.
You can't pick OpTic and then pull for the Vegas pick, dude.
All right.
My money and my heart go in two different
Going
directions.
to the next topic.
Sorry.
This one's loading other players. We're going to look at some clips on the interwebs, and we're going to decide if we think these are great opinions or terrible opinions. And we're going to start with something that's a little bit, it's kind of sensitive, right? 'Cause somebody got fired. Can you believe that? I hate it when people get fired. But Zeus was fired from PGL after one day because of a clip that he kind of went off on this little crazy rant. But, I mean, it's better if you just see it and listening to it. Go ahead, Prod. Go ahead and roll that if you can for me.
Not re-peeking for that second kill, that's immediately something I'm going to write down on my piece of paper and say that's a really good look.
I'm with you, but then I've seen Stewie 2K win a championship when no one else does, and he wasn't picked up. So scouting is stupid as is. So what? Like, whatever, I'm not even gonna go there. It's like people are winning tournaments who never win tournaments, making other win tournaments, and I think it was just a fluke. Have you ever done it once? How the can you call it a fluke? Sorry for that, but it's just real Wilton. We don't make sense as a CS community and as hires and as organization and as players and as coaches and managers. We are flawed and the game is still great. How cool is that?
Amadeus here. Look.
How cool is that, CJ?
Nick, go ahead. Take it away.
No, it might have been multiple factors at play there, but yeah, guy was on a tangent. You got to be professional. That was a great overtime match that he was commentating, and he wasn't on the same planet as everybody else.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, it's 16-5. That was like the first time I had seen that clip all the way through, and it's 16-5.
Yeah.
What the heck are we talking about?
Yeah.
The round's going on.
He's talking about Stewie 2K, who's on some amateur team that's coming back and talking about winning championships, and it's like, it was so... it was like an out-of-body experience. For me, watching it, it's like, what are you talking about? And his caster that's actually commenting on the game. It was like, yeah, that's crazy. And we have this overtime match that's happening against a great Pain Gaming and a great Aurora Gaming. What are we doing?
The other guy, you can clearly tell, is like, what the heck is happening right now?
Yeah, they all cast remote too, so it was like he probably definitely muted his mic and said some things like, what in the world is going on with this guy?
I'm glad he's gone. I mean, I think Counter-Strike takes a lot of pride in their production value. So, as someone here who's kind of seen some of the stuff that goes on in production,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear Andy from Today in Esports. I'd love to hear his insight on
There
that
you
one.
go. Yeah, I mean, it's a long day, and I don't know. Maybe he just didn't sleep and did some coke and showed up. I don't know what it is.
Hopes and prayers that he's all right mentally, but other than that, that stuff's got to go.
That's gotta
No place for it in the scene.
I agree. That's why they have contracts with these things. So there you go. All right, moving to the next one, we have Falcons. They're looking to pick up another player. They've already locked in Monesi, so they say the $2.5 million deal potentially. But they're looking to finalize their roster. They want Nico, Magix, they want Monesi, and now they're looking at another young player. I don't. KRU G2. How do you say, Davis? How do you say that name? What is this name for this player? I don't even know.
Q-Sucky? Kuseki?
All right.
Whoa.
Kusuki?
Cap, what do you think?
Kusuki?
Who's sucky? He's sucky. That's who's sucky.
You sucky! Nick, you sucky.
K, you suck.
K, you suck. All right, production, go ahead, roll the clip. How do you say the name? We need to know.
This player is rumored to be Dunk 2.0, but how do you pronounce his name?
Kyoshi, Kayushi. Let's see it, Kuyushuki. Kuyushuki.
By the way, you can say
He's dead.
Kayosuke or you can say Kyosuke. I interviewed him and checked it.
What?
Kyosuke is the Japanese way.
As a professional anime overlord whom they refer as Weep-sama, I will teach you. It is Kyosuke. Kyosuke. Kyo. The O is elongated by the U behind it. Alternatively, written with an O and a line above it. Then you have Su, no Zu on the pixel. And then the one most people get wrong is Ke. And that's because of the English E. The Japanese E is pronounced as E. The English E sound is the E in Japanese, like Kimi. Now Banks.
Well, there you go. Keusake. That's the guy.
You got it. We'll need to watch that video 10 more times to understand that.
Yeah, I didn't expect a language lesson on this show today.
Let's just call him KU.
Yeah.
KU.
KU.
Well, I mean, honestly, this is a player on the Academy roster for Spirit, the Spirit's Academy team, and has been slaying out. He's looked like he's a pretty dangerous little guy. And then going and playing with the likes of Monacy and Nico and Magix, it's going to be a dangerous roster. So if that
Rumor has it that kid's better than Donk.
Yeah, that's what I've
Which
heard
is
that through.
insane.
That they did just say that in the video. Donk 2.0, which
2.0.
last time I checked, 2.0 is an upgraded version of 1.0. So that's a bold statement in my opinion.
Hey,
And that would be scary. If there's a person out there better than Donk that's younger than him, pretty scary for the CS.
I mean, if
community.
I'm Spirit,
Why would you let that kid
yeah,
go?
like Spirit owns the Academy team, so it's
Yeah.
like
Well, like, what else are you going to do with him? Because, him and Donk, I don't think would probably mesh well on a
you
team.
bench one of the other freaking Zontics.
Yeah, I
over
was
there,
about to
right?
say, yeah, Spirit has, yet again, they have Dunk, but they have shown over the past couple of events that they're team third place right now because they keep getting bounced by Vitality in the semifinals for the past 2 or 3 events. They need to make a change, and maybe Kaiosuke is the answer instead of shopping him to one of your rivals in Falcons and them forming a dominant team.
And I don't know a whole lot about the situation because I don't know Caillou.
Say the whole thing.
I don't know this guy, so I don't know what role he plays or like how he plays. But my point of view is like, I mean, if he plays the same role as Donk, Donk's already solidified in the pro scene. This guy plays in the academy scene, even though he could be better than him. You already know Donk's your guy. I think this is a great opportunity for them to sell him, get a really good price tag from Falcons, and then use that to reinvest into your team elsewhere.
Yeah, replace Magix.
Get this guy. Somebody get him a team. What's going on here?
Yeah, for real.
It's crazy. Okay, cool. Moving on. Other news, another player we were just talking about, Monacy. He's got a crazy 4K against the good old complexity that happened from PGL Bucharest. Here's the clip right here. He's just so fast. It's just so, I mean, and that is a hard retake from CT popping up there. Needed it too, close round, gotta have it kind of thing. And Monacy is just very, very clutch in those moments. And that's something that I think is going to be very impactful, specifically for the Falcons moving forward, because that's the kind of moments they need.
100%. I mean, you see him right there. He jumps up on the box. There's a guy directly 180 to his right. There's a guy directly 180 to his left. Kills both of them with an AWP, so he's clearly talented.
He's clearly talented. A good play by Monacy. We like to see those things. And speaking also of Monacy, we've got one more clip that happened from, once again, PGL Bucharest. And Monacy has been silenced, and it's not, I won't have it. Play the clip.
We have a chance now to speak to
Monacy.
Hunter. And I know, Prof has just thrown it in there, I'm well aware what the questions are that people want to ask. Hello, Hunter.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. I know that your team has told you categorically you can't answer the questions I want to ask, so we're going to skip over the alleged reportedly news that's going on. And what I want to find out from you specifically is when the decider...
So that's the clip right there. Obviously, there's certain questions that G2 doesn't want you to ask about Monacy, and they're not going to let Monacy talk about it through the whole event, even if G2 does take it. What do you think about that, Nick?
It's just a weird situation overall. I don't understand how these, and again, I know you're going week to week to playing multiple events, but I don't know how you could go about with these situations of trade talks and buyouts, but still being able to perform and ask to perform for your current team when all of these rumors are flying out there, and especially in this situation where they're like, no, you can't even talk to him. It's like, you can't misquote silence, is one of my favorite quotes of all times. However, in this silence, you're pretty much saying he's gone. There's no question about it. It's a done deal. They're just waiting for the ink to dry. I don't know how these things happen. It's crazy. The entire situation is crazy to me.
Yep.
I'm okay with it. I mean, like, I think that at the end of the day, Monacy, whether he's gone or not, like, he's got a legacy to uphold. So I think no matter what the situation is, he's there to play and he's there to perform because he wants to add value to his brand, right, Monacy? So I'm not a big deal about it. G2 wants to protect their rep. That's fine. You know, he's a player. He doesn't need to be interviewed. He'll get to say all he needs to say as soon as he's on Falcons.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my thing is kind of like you said. I don't really think G2 really owes anybody an answer because, in my opinion, you know, G2 wasn't trying to lose Monacy.
Yeah.
It's not their decision. Vegas has just obviously persuaded him to go their way. And so no matter what way G2 is able to phrase it, if they are asked a question and respond, people are going to still be like, you're losing your best player. This is a dumb decision, blah, 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 bash them. There's no way that people would think this is smart in any way. So I just think there's no really reason for them to answer because they're just going to get bashed. So.
Yeah, it's interesting when your MVP gets kind of pulled away, you know. And so,
clearly they didn't want to lose him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your best player, so.
Yeah. And you got to figure out what they're going to do. And G2's obviously going to be in a tough spot. You know, they have Snacks and Heavy God that are kind of carrying that squad at the end of the day. And ultimately, this is going to be an interesting spot for G2 as they kind of navigate it. So they're probably working in the background trying to fill the gap.
And I also think, too, I mean, G2's a giant. G2's in every esport, and they're, like I said, they're a giant in basically every esport. So they don't owe anybody anything. They'll be right back. They'll find their replacement. It might take them a little bit, but they'll be good.
Yeah, there's already rumors. I forget the team he's playing on, but he left his team. We talked about it on the Monday show, but there's a player named Hades kind of in the AM scene. He's another big opper, so he's kind of up and coming. So it looks like, you know, all sources point to that G2's kind of targeting him as that replacement, especially since he just left his team. So yeah, hopefully Hades gets a chance to shine, right? And then when I can't wait, I mean, I look forward to G2 versus Falcons because that's going to be great to see, you know, kind of that run back. Can you upset Monacy?
Well, we will be watching to see when Monacy is able to break the silence and what he does say, even if he makes the MVP for the current events. And we'll see if G2 is able to pull it out. But we're going to finish up with our last segment, which is going to be, what are you watching next? So I'm going to go from person to person. And we're going to talk about your thing that you're most excited for this weekend. If it's a specific match within all the esports we've talked about, it might be PGL Bucharest, it might be a League of Legends match, it might be whatever it is. I'm going to start with you, Davis. Go ahead. What are you excited about this weekend?
Originally, I was going to say the Bucharest playoffs.
Okay.
But now, through the development of this episode, I've changed.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
I know what he's going to say.
I cannot wait. Like, I am actually on the edge of my seat for OpTic versus Falcons. I am on the edge of my seat. And I think Falcons are going to pull it out. I can't wait for Monday.
There you go. If you're Team OpTic, go ahead and tell Davis in the chat. We need to know. Go ahead, Kepley. What you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna play two here. I'm gonna play two roles. Okay, so one is definitely PGL, and I can't say it as elegantly as you, so I'm not gonna say Bucharest. Yeah,
Bucharest, Romania.
But yeah, so I'm definitely excited for Counter-Strike. I mean, it's been my favorite esport to kind of learn and adapt with since we started this show. And then the other thing is obviously Call of Duty's been nice. I want to see all of OpTic's matches, but I specifically want to see, with my heart of hearts, the Discord message that Davis is sick on Monday after that message, because he's not going to be here. He's not going to be able to show up on the show.
Nick.
I am actually looking forward to the Aurora G2 semifinal. I know they both have to win their first matches, but I think that's going to probably be the best match of the entire playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to that. And now that we made pick'ems and it's out there for all of America to see, I have to watch every single one of those matches so I could clear the 100%, even though clean sweep across the board with League of Legends.
Hey, there you go. All right. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to Ultra and 100 Thieves. I'm now on my seat on that. I think Ultra can pull it out, but I'm curious to see if the internet things are an issue, and I think that'll be a close match.
That'll be a great series as well.
Agreed. Cool. Well, that has been queued up. It is April 10th, 2015. It says it right there. Okay. We have enjoyed talking esports with all you guys. We're excited for the weekend matchups, and it's been a pleasure to have you here. Go ahead. We appreciate it if you like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how we're doing down in the chat. And I hope you have a great weekend and that you fulfill your life's happiness in that weekend that's coming. Okay? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.